Hello there everyone. Today we're going to tie this. This is called support or the supporter. And basically this is a fly that's intended to fish night fishing for sea trout. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of the details and a lot of the techniques in this that are quite unique could be applied very readily for a lot of different things. So this is a fly that has proven immensely efficient in Danish waters, and I'm sure this will find even salmon. And at least the techniques here is something that you probably would not have seen before, and is highly usable and can be applied to a lot of different tactics and a lot of different fly patterns. Okay. So basically, this is a tube fly. So we're gonna tie this on a port tube, and because we want this to move a lot of water, we're gonna take the 3.2 millimeter port tube, and the color here is fluorescent pink, because that suits the general color scheme of this fly very well. So I'm just gonna melt down the port tube here to have a nice ending, nice column. And then I'm gonna take my thread, and because this is a fly that, well, basically it doesn't take that much time to make, I'm gonna normally if I were to make a tinsel body, I would start up here and then take the tinsel all the way down and then back up. But for this fly that is intended for night fishing and stuff like that, it's gonna look not as beautiful as if we did it the other way, but this is gonna be so much faster. So and this is a fly intended for fishing. So basically I just take this holographic royal blue tinsel from it's from Vevus, and then I tie this on here, and then I just move the tying thread all the way up to where the rest of the fly is gonna be. That's around there. You can of course define how long you want this fly and how big you want this fly yourself, but approximately 4 or 5 centimeters in total is a good length for the Danish sea trout. And basically then I'm gonna turn my tinsel here. I apply quite a lot of pressure to this to make sure that I get no strange bumps and stuff like that. It's a really nice color, this this dark blue, this royal blue. So, what I would do normally is to apply some varnish or some sabagap to this body, because if you apply some sabagap to this body, it will last for a lot more teeth of the sea trouts. I'll just take a look to see. Yeah, it looks nice and even. It is a bit more bulky, a bit bigger down here, and that's due to the tube fly holder here has actually expanded the tube. Otherwise, this looks pretty good. But if you apply some varnish, if I were to say, let's say I wanted to tie 4 or 5 of these for my box, I would do this section first, and then simply every single time I had done one of these, I would apply glue and then start over, because I would have the bodies ready then. Now we're doing this video, so I can mimic doing it, but it's gonna take a bit of time for the glue to harden, and I want to tie the fly here on the video, so I think I've explained how that should be done. Then we need something to support the sunker wing, and for this part of the fly, I'm gonna take a bundle of Arctic fox in purple. As I said, this is a fly for the Danish sea trouts, and it's a friend of mine who's a name brother of mine. His name is Daniel Brodersen, and he is one of the best sea trout anglers I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. And he is a really cool guy, and he knows his stuff. He is, yeah. he is a very, very avid and extremely, extremely successful angler. And when this is the fly that he uses most of the time when he's fishing, night fishing, then that just really, really stresses to me how good this pattern must be, because yeah, he knows his stuff. So shout out to Daniel. He's a really cool guy and a really, really, really awesome sea trout fisherman. So now I'm gonna take a small bundle of angel hair, and if you have one of these angel hair flesh stash pots, then to stow your flesh is just so much more easy. So I'll take a bundle of angel hair. This is some variety of purple. It's not really that important. And it's the finishing part of this fly that in particular makes this pattern stand out and makes it kind of unique, because it really is a genius way of doing the finishing touch on this fly. So then we need to have a sunker wing, and for this you could use rabbit, which I'm going to use here. You could also use opossum, or you could use bisum, or whatever preferred sunker material you like. I like the rabbit here. And it has to be black for the night fishing. So, but in order to get this prepared the right way, I take my scissors and then I cut away some of the leather here. And the reason why I do this is I want this to taper. I want this to taper down with the fly here. I can see on this there is some leather here I need to cut off. You can hear some musing in the background. I've put on a wind hood for the microphone, but if you can hear some musing in the background, it's because our here in the showroom this is a big building, and on top of us is actually a gym where they are a boxing gym. So they're listening to some quite intense music, and they're just I don't know, pounding away at one another, I guess. So basically I have the sunker here, and as you can see it tapers now, and then I tie this on top of the Arctic foxwing. But I do not cut, and that's very important, I do not cut this piece of the wing away, because we're gonna need that later on. So basically I just turn this back around, and then I tie the tying thread all the way up to that, so I force it backwards. And then I move the tying thread a bit further out onto the tube, like this, maybe a couple of millimeters, something like that, because now we need the finishing part of this fly. And that's the trick that I really have been wanting to show you, and the trick that's very, very neat and really, really usable for a lot of different stuff. So for this trick we need some microlon in black, and we need a decent amount. The microlon here is a unique material. If you haven't tried out the microlon, then I urge you to do so. It's an awesome material. It's very, very lively in the water. It's perfect for hackles like the one we're gonna do now. It's genius for pikes. It's genius for bait fish, and for a lot of stuff. This really is an awesome material. So because this is too long, I'm gonna fold it in half, and then I'm gonna cut off half of this, like so. And then I'm gonna take, you want to tie these flies in twos, because then I'm gonna put half of the material, the microlon, off to the side, and then I'm gonna take the other half and I'm gonna pull out here so the ends are uneven. And when I do that in one end, ta-da! It's magically also done so in the other end. Then I'm gonna leave the microlon for a second on the table, because I want to mix it up with some fleshaboo. And this fleshaboo is I think it's called sky blue. I can't recall, or if it's called grape. It's a mix of blue and purple, and there's some pink, and a few strands of silver and pearl, I think, also in here. and I take a bundle that is maybe a little less than for the microlon. And again, this is too long, so I'm gonna find the approximately middle of this, cut it off, and then leave the one of the bundles on the other part, so I have for the next fly. Then I'm gonna prepare this exactly the same way. I'm gonna pull on some of these so that the ends here are not uniform in length. I'm gonna put it on top of my microlon and have this together in one bundle now. And then I'm gonna try to mix it up a bit. Basically just, you know, manipulate it a little and try to turn it over and switch hands and stuff like that. It's not gonna be a completely mixed in between one another, but that's okay basically. So just get it a little mixed up. That's okay. So I have something now that is a little mixed up, not too much, but a little. I'm gonna put it down on the table, and then I'm gonna make a dubbing loop. Because we're gonna use this dubbing loop to make a hackle. I'm gonna put the dubbing loop off to the side, there. I have my dubbing loop now. You see I have my dubbing loop here. I don't know if you can see that, it's a fairly thin thread. But then I'm gonna take my flash and my microlon and put it inside the dubbing loop. So it about is half on each side, like this. Then I'm gonna distribute the microlon and the flash with one finger very carefully. So there is as few places where this is laying on top of one another. You see, I spread this out. And this way I'm gonna make a flash microlon hackle that's gonna really have an amazing movement in the water, and it's gonna look awesome, and it really is a nice trick to do it like this. And microlon and flèche-à-bout in particular are the best suited materials for making these flash dubbing brushes. I'm gonna take my dubbing reel. This is the CF Design one, and it's, as you can see, it's just so smooth and so awesome to work with. And then I turn my dubbing loop, and as you can see, now I get this really brushy, really big dubbing brush. If you have a dubbing brush tool, you could of course make some of these in advance, and then you would have them basically ready to go whenever you wanted to tie some of these. And I use my dubbing needle quite a lot to pull out any material that is starting to, you know, be bundled up, because I don't want that. I want this to be as much like a hackle as possible. Like this. I'm gonna give it one more go here. Get back to where you belong. Then I try to get the material folded down underneath here, simply with two fingers here. Try to fold it down underneath, and then I hold everything here in place, and then I turn this as a hackle. Fold everything back here every time before I turn. Oh crap. It broke. I need my crap. My dubbing loop broke. I think I can probably save it if I can get my... I think I saved it. I got my my trusted CF Design hackle plier and clamped down on the and got it to clamp down on the dubbing loop here. That can happen, you know. That's annoying if it does. But I think I saved it here. Still, I continue to fold everything back before I turn. Then I'm gonna tie everything down here using the thread. Now you can see you have this really big and insanely lively hackle here from the flesh and the microlon. I have to trim this. Take my dubbing needle, and if there are some strands that are not pulled out of the that are clumped together, you basically can pull them out here. So they will be part of the hackle again, like this. And now for the finishing touch, you need to take the flesh and the microlon and then generally comb it on each side of the sunker wing that you have laying on top here, because we want the materials here, we want the flesh and the microlon to kind of be on the sides of this and be kind of like wings or fins out here in front here. So I pull I try to fold all the flesh material down on the sides here, and then I pull the sunker up here. I fold everything back, and then I tie down the sunker. It messed it up a bit that the hackle broke. It's definitely fishable, but it's not as beautiful as it would have been without, because a lot of the flesh is now stuck in the middle and stuff like that. So basically, it's not as good looking, but out in the night where the sea trout will see it. And to cut off the leftover of the rabbit, I use my knife to cut it away. Then I make a small head here. And I take my tying thread, make a whip finish. And then to finish this fly, we need to look at the proper proportions and see if everything is well. And also we need to cut away all the flesh that is underneath, to kind of give it a bulky head that moves a lot of water, that kind of sticks out. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see now, that one is too big. As you can see now, you have these really well moving fins on either side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the material that is underneath here. I'm going to try to still leave a lot of materials for the wings, for the sides of the fly, but I'm going to take all of this that is underneath here. I'm going to hold it up, and then I'm going to cut it off so it's approximately 1 centimeter. This will give you kind of a weird looking beard underneath here, but this beard will really make your fly move a lot of water, and that's the general idea of this. Is you have these two wings here on the side with the wing on top, and then you have the kind of beard underneath to push a lot of water in the night, and that's generally it. If you don't like this last finishing touch, for let's say for tying salmon flies, then even just leave it there. It will give a really cool looking hackle this for, you know, any types of flies, and for pike flies and yeah, musky flies and perch flies and stuff like that. It really is cool to use these the ideas here. I think that some of the flesh is a bit long on this side here, so I'm gonna trim this down a bit. I'm not gonna cut, you know, directly across. I'm gonna cut very carefully, not completely one strand at a time, but as little as possible. And then I'm gonna look at the other side. There's a few here that was a bit too long. And what you get now is you have the wing in the middle, and you have these two fins or wings or whatever you call them on the sides, that when you stop moving, the fly really will pulsate and give a lot of life. You have the underside here that moves a lot of water, and then you have a perfectly tapering wing that is more powerful in the front due to the Arctic fox. And this is just a really awesome pattern that has caught so many sea trouts in Denmark over the last couple of years. So basically, there you have it. It's called støtten in Danish. Translate that to, you know, the support or the supporter, because there is things to support the wings. There is things to support the entire thing of this, and basically we need one final touch, and the final touch is, of course, to get the tube in the right way. I'm gonna fold all this back, then cut off the tube there, and then without and this is the tricky part, without melting any materials, we need to melt this back to give it the column here in front. Gonna do this careful. So there you can see it from the front. The support, really cool looking fly. Well, that was it for now. As always, if you enjoyed the video and you think that this pattern is something that you might be able to use, then swing by my web shop. It's called Nordic Anglers. We have all the materials for this fly in stock, and we have a complete material kit for this fly ready to go. So you just have to, you know, press the button one time to buy it all. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't done so, it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe to the channel. Good luck fishing.